How could two of the most influential figures in the K-pop world like Jungkook and Taehyung be left without adequate protection by an agency as big as HYBE? What's really going on behind their recent weak escort? Army Global is not standing still, and now one official statement is making things even more chaotic. HYBE urged Global Army. Will the protection against Jungkook and Taehyung be tightened? HYBE failed to protect Jungkook and Taehyung? This official statement actually made the army panic. Is this just negligence? Or is there something bigger going on behind the scenes? It's a question that now haunts millions of armies around the world. A moment that at first only seemed like a technical glitch in the security setting has now turned into a global storm that demands answers and responsibility. HYBE, the agency that houses BTS, is now in the spotlight. Not only because of the apparent disregard for the safety of two of their brightest members, Jungkook and Taehyung, but also because of an official statement that not only failed to explain, but actually lit a fire in the hearts of fans. It all started with two seemingly unrelated events, too similar to be coincidental. Taehyung, who was on his way to Paris for an undeclared schedule, was spotted at the airport without a strict escort. There are no safety lines. No officers obstructed the crowd. Even local media cameras captured the moment when some stranger almost touched her shoulder, thrusting the camera into her face, and Taehyung, just a thin smile, almost without protection, and just a few days later, Jungkook returned from the United States, also without a strict escort. No human shields, no safety fences. The staff in attendance looked confused, some just standing there staring as dozens of cameras and mobile phones were pointed at the face of BTS's youngest idol. The normally calm look in his eyes turned nervous, as if realizing that day, if just one person went too far, there would be nothing to stop him. Does HYBE not see this as a threat? Do they believe too much that everything will go safe just because of BTS's big name? When an official statement was released by HYBE representatives saying only that we are reevaluating the security procedures for each of our artist members, ARMY's reaction around the world went from worry to anger. Not only because his statement was flat and felt like a formality, but because the sentence felt like a subtle acknowledgement that security had indeed not been a priority. Social media is also on fire. Hashtags such as hashtag protect Taehyung, hashtag HYBE protect Jungkook, and hashtag HYBE failed began to become trending topics in various countries. Many fans uploaded video clips of the incident at the airport, showing how vulnerable their idols were. Someone wrote, "If this happened to Jungkook or Taehyung, would HYBE still say they were evaluating?" Even some overseas fans filed an international petition, asking for stricter legal and physical protection for these two idols. But even more surprising are the clues that begin to emerge from behind the scenes. A former airport security staffer, who did not want to be named, told local media that there had been a decline in the level of coordination on the part of artist management since the beginning of the year. Normally, for big idols like BTS, we would receive scheduled details well in advance, including a dedicated lineup to avoid direct contact with fans. But lately, everything seems to be in a hurry. It's as if the agency itself didn't prioritize that arrangement. Does HYBE deliberately reduce protection for efficiency reasons? Or is it part of another, darker strategy? Even more puzzling, rumors circulated that Taehyung had actually requested additional security prior to his departure for Paris. This rumor comes from one of the most trusted fanbase accounts in South Korea that has an accurate history of the members' schedules. We got the news that V asked the team to be more careful because the schedule in Paris is very busy and open. But for some reason, the request was not followed up. The account wrote, "If so, who refused the request? And most frighteningly, why was the request ignored?" Jungkook, in a brief live stream a few days after his return, commented vaguely, "Sometimes there are things I can't manage on my own. But I know you're all worried." That sentence, even without directly mentioning the incident at the airport, is considered a form of recognition that he also feels the same concern. Does this mean that the members themselves are starting to lose their sense of security? Some fans even linked this situation to past events, where Taehyung once said in an interview that life as an idol sometimes feels like dancing on the edge of an abyss. That sentence now feels more real than ever. How is it possible that, After a decade of BTS's journey, HYBE actually looks more and more lax in guarding them? Is it because they no longer see Taehyung and Jungkook as a priority? Or is it because the company's focus has shifted to their new generation of artists? Are we going to wait until something undesirable really happens? What made ARMY even more uneasy was the fact that none of HYBE's personal statements specifically mentioned Jungkook or Taehyung. It all feels too general, too generic. It's as if they weren't the biggest artists who brought HYBE to the global top like they are now, and amid this chaos came one comment from an unverified, but horrendous, insider account. There was an internal discussion at HYBE to start limiting media exposure for BTS old members in order to focus more on building a new generation image. If this is true, then the decision to reduce protection may not be a mistake, but a conscious decision that ARMY Global is now united, not only because of the love for their idols, but because of the moral impulse not to let them be neglected. Will we see any real change from HYBE? Or will this be the beginning of a decline in public confidence in an agency once revered for its courage to prioritize artists over profits? Will Taehyung and Jungkook's next move bring answers or open up more questions? One thing is certain: the ARMY will not stand still. They have proven for over a decade that when their idols are in danger, they will make a voice, and the world will hear it. And now, the world is waiting. What will HYBE do? A real action? Or again, just empty words? But the questions don't stop there. Why did these two very similar moments, Taehyung in Paris without an escort and Jungkook returning from America in similar circumstances, happen so close together? Is this just a too perfect coincidence? Or is there a message being transmitted from within the agency itself? Many soldiers began to dig deeper. One of the French fan accounts even claimed to have witnessed firsthand how Taehyung walked alone towards a black car without a single bodyguard accompanying him. It was like a nightmare. Among the sea of fans and paparazzi, she is alone. Only regular staff were seen escorting him, not professional security. I was shaking watching it, the account wrote, including a short video as evidenced. On the other hand, video footage of Jungkook at Incheon airport shows an even worse situation. In the video, it is clearly seen that a stranger tries to touch Jungkook's arm before being pushed slowly by a panicked HYBE staff member. But the question is, why didn't professional security officers prevent the incident? And more than that, why can something like this continue to happen amid BTS's global status as an industry legend? And at this point, wild speculations began to appear. HYBE signaling that they no longer want to put Jungkook and Taehyung as their main faces? Is this reduction in protection a subtle way to direct public attention to their new group like TWS, New Jeans, or LE Seraphim? Or more than that, is this HYBE's way of releasing them slowly from the forefront of the industry? Have we considered that Taehyung and Jungkook might be in an internal conflict with management? Some fans speculated that Taehyung's decision to accept the invitation to the fashion show in Paris came not through the main management line, but through his personal team. This, if true, could be the reason why no formal security protocols have been implemented. Is this a sign that the relationship between Taehyung and HYBE is starting to crack? Same with Jungkook. His solo activities abroad in recent months have been carried out with a smaller, more personal team and less involved in the official promotion of HYBE. In one interview, Jungkook mentioned, "I want to do this my way, in my vision." Is this an ordinary statement of an artist, or the code that he began to take over the reins of his career, regardless of the control of the agency? If the two of them had indeed started to move away from the HYBE system, was that the reason why their protection system was weakening as well? But even more painful is how HYBE has not shown a sense of personal responsibility. Isn't it time for the CEO or the highest representative to speak directly to the public? It's not just through a written statement that feels like it's being auto-typed by a machine. Do they not realize that they are ignoring not just two artists, but two souls who are loved by hundreds of millions of people? The reaction of the fans began to rise to an unprecedented level. In Seoul, a group of soldiers held a silent demonstration in front of the HYBE building, carrying posters that read, "We will not be silent until you protect them." This stunt was documented by various local media outlets and became a symbol that it's not just about fandom, it's about humanity, safety, and respect for the people who have raised this company to its breaking point. Will Taehyung and Jungkook speak up? When Taehyung's live stream was done after returning from Paris, But that night, an internal leak that never expected to appear suddenly appeared in the largest Korean online community, triggering a wave of emotions wilder than ever. An anonymous account allegedly from HYBE's internal staff posted a shocking statement. There was an order from top-level management to prioritize the protection of new artists because they are the future of the company. BTS is considered strong enough to fend for themselves. Even security requests from individual team members often cut budgets or delayed their execution. The sentence spread as fast as a storm. Army Global not only panicked, but also began to rage. They refused to believe that artists like Taehyung and Jungkook are considered self-sufficient figures in an industry that has been proven to threaten the physical safety, privacy, and even mental health of idols. Does HYBE really think these two BTS members no longer need to be taken seriously? And an even more painful question: are they leading to the gradual release of Taehyung and Jungkook from the company's priorities? One sentence written by a fan on Twitter/X in the spotlight. If our love isn't enough to make them feel safe, then who cares? If not us, then who will ask HYBE aloud? Why are you silent when these children are in danger? All of a sudden, the mainstream media is covering up this mess. CNN Korea, KBS News, even Japanese media such as Nikkei Sports also highlighted the growing ARMY petition. How is it that two global icons like Jungkook and V, who brought South Korea onto the world map on a pop culture scale, don't get security in proportion to their status and contribution? And it was precisely in the midst of this media spotlight that another shocking event occurred. A rabid fan reportedly tried to break into a private area at one of the 5-star hotels in Paris, where Taehyung was staying.
No casualties.
No violence. But the surprise is, the event was never made public by HYBE. No statement. There is no clarification. No warning.
Done?
No apologies. Why was such a big event covered up? Is this part of the strategy to maintain the image that everything is safe? And even more suspicious, it was Taehyung himself who implied that he leaked it. In an Instagram story post that was deleted in just 15 minutes, she wrote in Korean, "Sometimes I ask, why does a hotel room feel like the most unsafe place?" That sentence struck millions of hearts ARMY. Many suspect that's the only way Taehyung can signal without breaking his internal contract. Is this a disguised cry for help? Jungkook did not escape a similar danger. During one of his private outings in Los Angeles, a video taken by a fan showed a foreign man following Jungkook to a parking area before being stopped by a foreign crew member instead of HYBE. The fact that it was an outsider who saved Jungkook from a potential threat, not the agency, is really embarrassing. Where was HYBE? Even international fans started raising emergency funds to pay for Jungkook and Taehyung's personal security system. Although the idea was opposed by some fans who considered HYBE to be responsible, this actually showed the level of panic and despair of the ARMY towards this situation. Has this already crossed the unforgivable line? But the pressure doesn't just come from the fans. Investors began to doubt HYBE's management. HYBE shares fell 3.2% in the day after the global security abandonment issue. Analysts mentioned that the public perception of the agency's treatment of BTS will significantly affect market sentiment. An analyst at JP Morgan said, "When BTS's brand is disrupted, it's not just fan confidence that collapses. The entire value of the company fell." Is HYBE ready to lose everything just because HYBE keeps her two biggest names? And this is where it all comes back to the emotional questions that continue to torment the fans. Why? Why are two boys who have given their whole lives, time, health, and emotions to raising the name of the agency left in such vulnerability? Why do people who once said they were family choose to be quiet when they need protection? Even in the midst of the storm, HYBE has not issued a single additional clarification. They stay calm, too quiet. And it was that calmness that made ARMY feel like it was screaming in a soundproof room, until finally, one unexpected voice appeared. Jin, the oldest member of BTS who just returned from military service,